Good day, all. Ira Epstein with your metals market wrap-up, and this is for Monday, the 6th of April, 2020, about 5:20 p.m. Central Time. We're already into the trade for Tuesday, and since I was later today, figured I'd get that going. But you can see gold's getting a follow through, up about $11 more, silver into the 1530 area, copper market holding up, platinum holding up. Today was a classic risk-on day. So what you're playing right now isn't market fundamentals. You're playing COVID-19, which I guess you can call it a market fundamental. And what the event of the day was as soon as we heard New York over the weekend wasn't doing as poorly as had been forecast, that got people scratching and going, maybe this thing's going to end quicker rather than later, and maybe we won't get in between that 100,000 and 240,000 deaths. That doesn't mean it still can't happen. None of us want it to happen, and the numbers so far, I took out the rest of the month. Let's assume that, the plateau happens and you're going down the other side, and you start going down, instead of 600 deaths a day in New York, you're down to 500, 400. How do you get to the huge numbers across the country is what I think the market looked at today. That can all change, as you know, on a news conference. You just don't know where you're at. But what I thought today was short covering. I don't think that as the market kept going up in the Dow as much as it was in the S&P, that it was necessarily new buying on that rally. I could be very wrong. In the metals, no, I think this is new buying. I think traders are realizing that somewhere along the line, as governments around the world keep throwing, be it tax write-offs, be it actual money, giveaway, helicopter money that they're doing right now, whatever it has to be, as that goes on, you debase currencies, and I think that that's what the gold bulls are all about right now. When you look at gold, you can't get away from the fact that you settled at 1677. That's above the most recent high close that we've had on this chart. When we come over to the daily bar chart, you can see how the market got up and away through here and through those highs. Now, we're in an area that we failed at before. I know that. You know that. We'll see what the market does. When I come to the swing line, I have a pattern of a lower high. You can see that. Here's the lower low, and then I made the higher high. So the current pattern is a widening one. You went down, made the low first, and that low ended up right here. Then you came through that, soaring to the upside. Interesting, but not a trend per se in the sense of higher highs, higher lows. You may not get that, but that's what you have. When you look at moving averages, we were nervous for a bit here that this average was going to drop down, and was it going to come down to the 100-day? Well, I think it's answered that it's not going to. I think that it's done its reversal, if you will, of that plateau. It sort of formed its bottom right here, and now it's on the other side of that, just like a curve we see on TV all the time. In terms of Bollinger Bands, we got very close today to that upper band. That's why I think market's stalling right here a little bit. If you continue up, it's way above us. So that's a good piece of news for the marketplace. As we take a look at where the momentum is, this is what I'm not liking. You either embed. Do you know what embedding is? Embedding is when you take the two numbers that make the slow stochastic. In theory, they're called a K and a D line. They're the identical formula, except one on a daily chart uses 3 days worth of data. The other, the D line, uses 5. That is the difference. Now, there's a look-back lens. Some traders use 14, some 18. You can play with that to get your own feel as to what you want. But the key is that both numbers have to be going over 80 for several days in a row to lock in what I call the trend. Now, that happened back here. And once you got it, you see how the market then spiked again, stayed within the stayed over the 18-day average and kept hitting that Bollinger Band. Eventually, the market moved up again, but it really didn't do it with an embedded reading. It got itself up here without that. It just got like you're doing right now. And then the market was this volatile period that we're in. Keep also in the back of your mind that we have a 4-day week this week. Good Friday's staring you in the face. When we look at the gold-silver ratio, one of the elements I look at if we're going to have a true bull market in metals is Where's the silver in relation to it? Where's the copper? Well, the good news for both, they're doing better, and silver has been gaining on gold now since the beginning of March. You can see it peaked out, got up to 124, 125, and you've backed off from there about, I don't know, what is that, 10%, something in that range. When you look at the silver as to what the pattern is, it's bullish. Unlike the gold, you have the higher lows, higher highs. This market for last week, if you'll recall, couldn't get itself up and over the 18-day average. This is April 1st, so this was last week. Then you had this one day, you got down, and then this was the key to me, in the sense that the market's now bullish again because I have this big outside day up, and unless that low's taken out almost immediately, the odds favor it'll try to work higher. And that's what's going on right now. But you are overbought. And overbought is not something that, it's missing that filter, and I just pass on it. It can go higher. First objective would be in that 1600 level. In the copper market, you're fighting right at that 18-day average of closes. So when we were talking, would you get back under this $2 a pound area, maybe to the 195, or was that it and the market's drifting sideways? Well, I think the market, by just getting to the 18-day average, is answering that it really doesn't want to come down that much at this point in time. In the platinum market, market is number one, overbought. It is trending, but it is overbought. Overbought conditions either embed. This was a downside embedded reading, and you can see the power of that. Did we have an upside one? Back here. And when you embed, you often move higher. So overbought, you've come up quite a bit. I don't know, I'll leave it up to you. Palladium market's the opposite side. The Palladium's got a short-term downtrend on the swing line, but what it's done is it's finding a home, and today's not the first day. It's been doing this for about 3 sessions, trying to find that 100-day average as support. If that gives ground, then I would be looking at the 100-day to see if that takes you down, and where's that going to carry the market. Last, the dollar index. You would think that a strong dollar would be hurting the metal markets. It's not in this particular case. It is actually not impacting it at all. You were up today, not dramatic, 7.5 points is nothing huge, but it has stayed up as this whole rally's unfolded. So in a nutshell, what gold seems to be doing is it's pricing in the knowledge that the market has got tremendous central bank buying. It's got fiscal programs being discussed Europe, being discussed America now. Where else is it going to be doing it? Because countries are going to all be looking to restart their economies depending on how long and how severe their issues of COVID is. Japan declared a national emergency today. 2 cities, Tokyo is one of them, that they're shutting down basically the way we have in America for 30 days. So this takes its toll over time. Will we be lucky and New York does better? We'll know over the next I guess week and a half, is the Surgeon General saying. He says we're in the Pearl Harbor week. I don't know. Did it come and go already? When you look at volumes 1 and 2 here, and this is our guide to technical indicators, everything I'm talking about is explained in its basics in a really neat way with pictures. It shows you what's going on. How do you work with them? It's a PDF, so we're going to email this to you. You can get this and our other offerings on our website by going to www.iraepstein.com. You're going to see on the bottom right page, the right-hand side of the page, free offerings. Take a look at that. You might want to take a look at some of the videos that we do and sign up for those if you haven't had them before. But this is how you do it. My staff is still picking up the phone, so you can call. We have everything done the right way we should for call forwarding. So to us, it's more or less, and the word is more or less. It's not quite business as usual, but it certainly isn't as bad as it could have been by any stretch of the imagination. I'm Ira Epstein. You have a good night, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.